Hey Ottawa, Kevin here with the Feely Group, and today I brought on Mark and Eric from Ottawa Mortgage Shop. Thanks for coming by, guys.
Thanks for having us.
So main reason I brought you guys here is we're hearing a lot in the media about the Bank of Canada raising the interest rate that happened yesterday, June 1st. So what does that even mean?
Bank of Canada increased the benchmark rate from 1% to 1.5%. It's a 50 basis point increase, 0.50 increase, which means that the prime rate also goes up by that amount. So it was 3.20, now it's 3.70. So people on a variable term right now are seeing a little bit of an increase in their mortgage rate. And the mortgage rates going forward a little increase. So we're still seeing something that's very good in the variable side of things. We're seeing prime rate minus 1% rates out there. So you're looking at 3.70 minus 1%, which is 2.70. So nothing to panic about, nothing to go crazy about. It's still a good market. There's the rates are still very aggressive on the variable side. We're seeing the Bank of Canada are saying that there's going to be more increases, but for how much and when is that going to happen? We don't have the crystal ball, but hopefully not too much. But right now we're still seeing some aggressive rates out there.
Okay, so I guess there are two different things, right? Like you have people on variable rate that already have homes that are affected by this, and then you have someone who is looking to buy a house. So how would they both be affected by this? So
the people that are currently on the variable rates, the variable rate is really marked on the discount that you receive from the prime rate, okay? So if you're at 1% discount or 0.75% discount, that's what's gonna tell you what your new rate is gonna be. Now, people that are on variable right now, most of the lenders out there are not changing the amount that they're gonna be paying per month. All they're doing is they're going to increase the amount of interest they're going to take out versus the principal. So on a normal 5 years, you might pay down your mortgage by $50,000. In the case of mortgage variable increase, you might pay it down to $40,000 instead of $50,000. Okay, so it's helping those people that currently have homes on the variable term keep the cash flow as is. It's not changing their mortgage payments, so nothing in their budget really changes.
Just less going towards the principal.
That's right, less going towards the principal, more towards the interest, and the payments stay the same. So very safe in regards to that. And we're getting emails, asking, should we lock into a fix? Should we lock into a fix? And that's the people wanting to be informed, and we're teaching them not to panic too much, and we're showing them what the difference are between the variable and the fixed, and how it's a benefit that you keep the variable right now if the payments are not moving.
And now for new buyers that are potentially in the market looking to purchase. So the fixed rate, what happens when the Bank of Canada increases their rates? There's a thing called the qualifying rate. So right now the qualifying rate is at 5.25%. And what that means is that's no matter what your interest rate actually is, you have to qualify for your mortgage at 5.25% to make sure that it's affordable for you at that point. So what it is it's either the 5.25 or what your actual rate is plus 2%. So as we see rate increases, the qualifying rate is also increasing and going above that 5.25%. So for an example, if somebody's looking to purchase a home right now, and let's just use 414 as a current rate, fixed rate as an example. Basically someone who has $100,000 in income per year, no debt, is currently qualifying for a mortgage of about $500,000. Okay. Now, if the Bank of Canada was to increase the rates again by say 0.5% again, we're keeping the same scenario. The person is making $100K. They're basically going to be losing about $30,000 in purchasing power every time the Bank of Canada does that, because the qualifying rate keeps increasing, so you keep qualifying for a little bit less. Now, I think it's reasonable to say, based on what we're hearing in the media and the economists and all that, that there might be 3 more increases coming up. So what that would mean is 3 more increases would mean $30,000 each time that you qualify less. So people sitting on the fence right now, hoping potentially for home prices to go down, they have to keep in mind that they're losing $30,000 in purchasing power every time the Bank of Canada increases by 0.5 percentage point.
Yeah, no, I think that's important for people to see too, because I know that there are so many people that are sitting on the fence right now, waiting for the market to crash, saying, interest rates are rising, prices are going to come down. But I guess if we look at, if the Bank of Canada was to increase the rate a couple more times, we'd have to see the home prices drop by at least 20% for it to
That's
make
about right.
sense,
Yeah, 20%. Right? So it's a yin and yang type of effect, where you're not, yes, you're seeing an advantage there, but you're losing somewhere else. So, but right now fixed rates are good. And a good way to take advantage of that is maybe through getting a pre-approval, because pre-approvals can be submitted now, and then you have 120 days to close on a house. And no matter what happens, if the Bank of Canada increases the rates again or whatever the case is, you're still locked in at today's qualifying rate, today's rate. The thing to keep in mind with pre-approvals is that is the 120 days. So you actually have to close on your property within 120 days. So you can't purchase and say 90 days from now and with a closing date of 90 days away, because that would be, that would be 180 days. So that doesn't work out. But, and we just have to make sure that you do your due diligence. You know exactly who the borrowers are going to be on the application. Know the term that you want, meaning do I want a 30-year term amortization or a 30-year amortization, 25-year amortization, because those things are kind of set in stone on the pre-approval. So you can't go back and change that afterwards, but it's a great tool right now to get pre-approved, see if house prices do come down, and you're still taking advantage of qualifying for more right now.
Okay, and so you said you're now getting emails from clients that were on variable rates and they're looking to switch to fixed. So how are you responding to those emails? Like, what advice do you have for them?
We look at the discount that they have with Prime. We look at what they have currently as a rate, and we look what we would be locking into, and we sort of want to make sure that there's enough of a gap there for the client to be safe, or to be what's the word I'm looking for? To be comfortable.
Their risk appetite.
Yeah, exactly. So if we're looking at the prime rate being 3.70 right now, and a lot of clients out there with a 1% discount, which makes it 2.70. Well, now if you're going to purchase something, or if you're going to switch it to a fixed rate, you're looking at 4.59. So the difference that you're looking in between both is huge. So that would mean that the Bank of Canada would have to up their rates 5 to 6 times at 0.25 for you to lose out on changing to the fixed term. So right now, currently, everybody who's in a variable term, the best thing to do right now is to stick to the best rate. And keep saving, because 2 years ago they were at 1.45. So you've got your savings. Variable will always win compared to the fixed. We've seen it in the last 15 years. So I know it's you see it in the news, but stay put. The jump to the fixed right now is too much of a big gap that it doesn't really make sense.
Mm-hmm. And how are you guys seeing the rates changing, affecting people who are looking to maybe refinance their properties? That's the big one, because a lot of people out there are going to have rates at around the 2% mark. And if they want to take equity out to buy an investment property, a cottage, consolidate debt, they would have to break the mortgage and go into a newer rate. So a lot of people you're seeing don't want to do that, and obviously for obvious reasons, because of the big jump in the fixed rate. So what we suggest to these clients is keep your mortgage as is. If you want to take equity, there's ways to do that. We could do it through a home equity line of credit, or we could do it through a second mortgage, which will be more cost effective than breaking your mortgage and going into the new fixed term to get more money. All right, so I'm just going to back this up a bit, and actually, why is it that the rates are increasing?
Yeah, it's a great question because that's what we're hearing in the media. You know, the average person who's not in real estate, rates increasing. The reason why is just because right now the inflation is so high. We're in the 6% range, over 6%. Ideally, the Bank of Canada would like to cut inflation in half. So cutting inflation in half would mean the cost of living would also come down, because right now the cost of living is at a 30-year high. So it's very expensive. We all know grocery stores, gas, everything that's that we need is increasing in price. So what the Bank of Canada is trying to do is increase rates to curb down spending, borrowing, maybe cool off the housing market a little bit, in the hopes of basically chopping in half what our current inflation is, so that people can easily afford more housing or foods or gas or vehicles. So basically, they're trying to limit spending right now.
Mm-hmm. And so, do we know what that's going to take? Like, what the interest rates are going to get to before we start to see that happen and they stop raising them?
I don't think there's a magic answer to that where we know exactly. There's a lot of factors that come into what makes the economy. The housing market is one of them, but we could go as far reached as, and it's not that far reached, but the war in Ukraine, COVID. There's just a lot of things that can do that. But I would say that the Bank of Canada, based on what I'm hearing, is planning. I would say for 3 more increases of anywhere between each being 0.25 or 0.5%. And then see what happens with the rest of the world, and hope that does it, and that we can start living a bit healthier and financially.
You get clients that are still asking, when's a good time to buy? I think we've seen it in the past. The longer you wait, thinking something's going to change, you're not getting yourself in a better situation. So, if you're capable and if you're locking in that rate, and if you're getting pre-approved with 120 days of locking in that rate, you're sort of guaranteeing that rate. So if there is more increases, then, you're covered. So, and Mark touched on it.
And if there's a slight drop in housing price, you're getting the best of both worlds, right? Because you're covered at what you can qualify at today. Plus there's a potential maybe for a slight decrease in housing costs, but not the 20% that would be needed to really make it make sense.
Yeah. So I guess what would be your advice to anyone who's looking at housing and looking at, is it the right time to purchase or not?
Get pre-approved, lock in that rate. That's the number one. We can lock in the rate for 120 days. We look at your income, we make sure everything's set, and then it gives you that comfortable feeling that you're able to shop and you know what the rate's going to be. That's, I think, the number one thing to assure that you're buying at the price that you're pre-approved for. So yeah, get pre-approved.
I agree.
Yeah, and I would agree too. Thanks a lot for coming in, guys.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
It's always great. And how do people get a hold of you if they're looking to get pre-approved?
Phone call, email, it'll be at the bottom of the screen here. Visit our website. We're happy to help.
Awesome, thanks.